Hey everyone, and I want to welcome you to something that's a first for me, and that is my top 12 countdown of the top 12, in my opinion, MLP FIM characters. Now, some of you may or may agree with this list, some of you may or may not. Some of you may say it's favoritism, some of you may say not. But let me let me first off say that this is just something that I'm doing as a fan out of respect and a brony out of respect for what the show has accomplished during its existence. And I'm going by what I know, kind of, from reading and watching here and there, and from what other fans have said as well. So, without further ado, let's get this countdown on the way. This is the top 12 MLP FIM characters. Number 12. Number 12. Queen Celestia. Queen Celestia, the Queen of the Changelings, if you will. Now, again, like I've said at the beginning, I don't really know much about certain characters, but I don't really know too much. I do know that this character made her debut, I think, in the season finale for season 2 or 3, and it was the wedding, and it took place between the wedding of Shining Armor and Cadence. Basically, from what I understand and I have seen, she basically took to the sky. She is a shapeshifter. Her and her kind, the changelings, are shapeshifters, and they could take the form of anybody, if not anything. So she decides to take the form of Cadence, who she has she is locked away in a prison. And why? Well, from what I understand, by becoming a queen, being married, by basically marrying Shining Armor and becoming, I think, queen, or at least ruler, well, not queen, but ruler of the Crystal Empire, she will be able to feed off love. She'll be able to feed off the love that the Crystal Empire, and I guess all of Equestria, is able to, you know, push through the Crystal Empire, whatever it's called. Uh, so yeah, that's basically one of the reasons she did it. And apparently, she's also more powerful than Princess Celestia. So, to the point that not only did she overpower her and kind of burnt her, kind of gave Celestia a burnt horn, but she was also able to cocoon Celestia in some kind of a goo. Now, I don't know what that cocooning means for a character unless it's going to turn them into a changeling. But overall, this character has actually, from what I understand, gained a very popular fan base, and a lot of people have theories about this character too. You look at Cons Pone's theory videos and other people's MLP theory videos, and some feel that she might have been a princess herself in the past and might have been good. There's a comic actually, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic comic. It's a I think 2-3-parter or something like that. I'm not really sure. Where the ponies, the main six, along with I think several characters like Celestia and others, enter an alternate dimension where everybody is the exact opposite of who they are in their world. So like Queen Chiliris, the queen here, the queen of the changelings, is actually very kind. She, instead of having bat-like wings with holes in them and all that, she has butterfly wings. So her opposite, her opposite in that world, in those issues, may give off the idea maybe of who she was originally. Now we don't really know that because, from what we understand, the comics and the cartoons kind of want to be a little bit separate in some ways. So whatever you get there is like it's its own thing and has nothing to do with the actual cartoon show. But then again, you never know. So maybe we'll get more information about her. But the reason she's at number 12 is, like I said, I don't really know much about her, but from what I understand, she does have a unique following, and I think she has the potential to turn over a new leaf. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that is why Queen Hilarious is, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, is number 12 to start off this countdown. Alright guys, coming in at number 11 here, we have Shining Armor. Now, Shining Armor, you might be surprised is a little low, but we don't really see much from what I understand of Shining Armor unless, you know, he's in an episode like he was recently, this past weekend. Shining Armor is, I think, is a typically okay character. Of course, he is married to Cadence, and they did have a child called Fluffy Heart recently. So, to me, when I look at Shining Armor, I look at a character that, if they do more with him in the future, has potential to be a great character. He is the brother of Twilight Sparkle, which was kind of a surprise, I think, to a lot of fans when that was revealed. Which is kind of which kind of builds upon the relationship between Sparkle and Cadence. Um, Overall, he's basically a guard, is what he is. He's not a guard, but he's more like he's basically being married to a princess. He becomes a prince, and I guess if that's how it works, I don't know. And he's also the leader of the guard. Basically, he's the head guy. He's the captain of the guards, and it's shown, and that's demonstrated on this past weekend's episode. So overall, not I don't really know much about Shining Armor. All I know is that he does have fans that like him. Fans actually create some creative pictures and stories with him, and that's another story for another day. But very good character overall, from what I've seen, and you know, from what I understand, is a has this can be. Here's the thing: he can be easily fooled. That's the thing. When we go back to our last character on this countdown, and for him not to know that really wasn't Cadence, but the Queen of the Changelings in disguise, kind of shows you how easily he can be duped. But thankfully, that's been worked upon, and hopefully, it won't happen again. But overall, decent character with Shining Armor, and again, I hope they do more with him. Maybe they've done more with him in the comics, but hopefully, they do a lot more with him in the animated show, maybe even the movie, because he does have that potential. And all right, number 10, and I know I'm going to get some flack with this. It is Fluttershy. I know she's a very popular character in the eyes of many fans. She has a unique characteristics that a lot of people have pointed out and said really make her stand out. Basically, the thing I like about her character, and the reason I know I could have ranked her higher, but you know, I think they need to really do a lot more with Fluttershy, especially with the movie coming out, to kind of show that there's more to her than just being shy and having these sudden outbursts if she needs them and all that. You got to do a lot more with her, and hopefully we get that in the next season, if there is one, as well as the movie. But overall, Fluttershy is a pretty good character. I mean, when the writers decide to give her moments, she gets her moments. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I like that when they did the Power Ponies deal, that her power is basically that of the Incredible Hulk. She could be all kind and calm and everything, but when she gets mad, she just bulks out, just hulks out. Just rages out and all that. And I like that and I liked how that complemented it a little bit. I like the fact that she, like I said, she does have her moments. I mean, she's had episodes recently where we see her family finally. We meet her brother, and I like how her brother and her family at times, especially I think with her brother, being kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this or that. It gets her upset. Basically, she, and this is one characteristic a lot of people like about her. She's very reluctant to say certain things. She tells Rainbow Dash as they're going back to Ponyville, or flying over Ponyville, that you know what she just saw at her parents' house just makes her feel so peeved, and she had to constantly, quickly apologize for her language, because she's not like that. And when there are times when the characters try to get her to be more, more excitable, more, personality wise, more charismatic, She does when the moment calls for it, she does it, but when the moment doesn't, but she's very shy in doing it. And there are times, like I said, there have been episodes that have shown that she can do it, but in turn, it's not really her, or it's not really who she is. She's basically the Mother Nature, well, in a sense, she's kind of like the Mother Nature of animals. She's very animal friendly, takes care of them, and can understand them. So her character is very unique and has really been expanded on in recent years and seasons. But I believe can be done with a lot more, or can have a lot more done with her in the near future. Maybe they should, hopefully they'll explore this friendship she has, this connection she has with Discord, and go from there. And maybe we'll see more with this other character. I can't think of her name right now. She's kind of a hippie, naturist kind of character. Maybe they'll do more with her and that character as well. So that's all I'm going to say, and that's why Fluttershy, I know again some people may not like it, is at number 10 as we start the top 10 portion of the countdown. All right, number 9 is Sunset Shimmer. Now I know some people might say I'm cheating a little bit, but the picture you could see shows that it's not much of a cheat, because not really much is known about Sunset outside of what people have seen in Equestria Girls. Uh, Basically, Sunset is apparently she's a pony. She's really a pony in real in MLP continuity. But the problem is, she obviously her history was I guess from what I can understand, she seemed to maybe be a former student of Celestia, and something happened to where now she wanted to get back at her, and she allowed, I guess, the darkness to get a hold of her. And when she went to the human world and became human, and then got possessed by that darkness, she became a demon-like creature, with holes in her wings, and kind of cut up ears and stuff. And but fortunately, she ended up being defeated by Twilight Sparkle, and the MLP Twilight Sparkle, who went to that universe and became human, and then went back. And then I guess took Twilight's place as, I guess, the leader of that main six in the Equestria world, in the Equestria Girls world, if you will. But a lot of fans have kind of looked at this and said, well, is there more to Sunset than we think? And I have to say there has to be something, and I think that's why she's such an intriguing character, especially when it comes to the pony side of things, because a lot of fans are hoping, they are praying, they are almost begging, and the writers to bring her back as a pony. It's like you can only milk this Equestria Girls thing for so long before you decide, hey, what else can we do? Or not decide, before you ask yourself, I should say, what else can we do? And Sunset, to me, I think I do agree, needs to come back as a pony character. I think there's a lot of potential there for what she can do as part of the main six, maybe making it to a main 8. And here's, and I just thought about this. Here's what I think is happening if you want to bridge both the Equestria Girls thing and this one together. And that is, Sunset is in Equestria to kind of set things up for that version of Twilight Sparkle to take her place as sort of like the leader of that main six. And then she maybe would come back and eventually take the place of Twilight Sparkle as the leader of this main six down the line. I'm not saying that's the case, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that to me is what makes it a character like Sunset very intriguing. You can definitely tell she's got a lot of personality. She's very charismatic, and she's determined. So we'll just have to see what they do, but to me, this is what makes Sunset a very intriguing character, and why she's ranked at number 9 on this countdown. All right, everybody. At number 8, it was a decision I wanted to make. It's a decision I was going back and forth on. At number 8, we have Starlight Glimmer. That's right. I know a lot of you might be saying, well, why is she on the countdown? Well, to me, I like what they're doing with her character. I mean, I know some people may not like how all of a sudden she's sort of, being put in this story arc or something. It's not a major story arc. It's not like, oh, she's in our face and all that. But mainly it's a story arc where if it has a twist at the end and she's just, using using Twilight and all that, I'd be surprised. I would really be surprised. But I don't think they would go that route because anytime they do something like this, I mean, again, I mentioned with Sunset Shimmer, how she was redeemed and all that. I think that's exactly what they're doing with Starlight. It's just they're taking their time to see what happens. And I like what they're doing with Starlight here because they're dedicated. It, like I said, she's not in your face, but it's more like it's a dedication of to a character, to a character's subplot, sub storyline of trying to redeem herself, trying to learn that there is more to friendship than just one friend and been feeling abandoned and all that. So Starlight to me is definitely being put through that process. I mean, they even did a a Christmas Carol like story to really continue her her progression. You had Twilight telling her a Christmas Carol like story with her in the Christmas Carol story as the main character. So it's basically part of progression. I know some people are probably thinking there's going to be a twist in the end with her, like either she's just pretending to be changed and she's going to reveal that she hasn't. But I don't know. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they'll do that because you're putting too much into it. And you look at the toy figures and everything and how she's now being displayed with the other ponies and not as an enemy, but as not as an antagonist, but as a protagonist. I like what they're doing here, and hopefully with the show we'll get a decent we'll get a decent payoff with her redemption. I've said a couple of times in audio videos that I wouldn't be surprised if maybe she could be set up as to take Twilight's place as the leader of the main six. Like Twilight now being a princess has all these other princessy duties uh, and responsibilities she has to do that maybe she needs to have somebody take her place, take over for her as leader. And I think that's where Starlight might come into play. If they decide to go that route. I mean, I mentioned with Sunset, she may end up in that position, but we don't know yet. But hopefully, there'll be a decent payoff in the end. And again, I don't think they're going to twist it to where she's just been pretending and all that because they wouldn't have given her a song at the end of season 5 to kind of show that she's ready and willing to redeem herself. They wouldn't go through what they did with her in that finale. The cutie remark if they weren't going to, have a if they they wouldn't go through what they did with her there if they weren't going to have a decent payoff for her when it comes to her redemption. So uh, to me, I like what they're doing with Starlight, and I like the development of her character. It's not in your face as a lot of people would think it would be, and hopefully like I said, we get a decent payoff with her in the end. And hey, maybe we might get hint of a Starlight Spike deal, or who knows? I mean, I know that pointing her towards another character that's been a lifelong friend of hers. So that made a return this past weekend in an episode. So maybe they might do something there, but we'll just have to wait and see. But to me, the redemption story of number 7. Number 7 is Princess Celestia. I know a lot, like I told you earlier at the beginning, I know a lot of you are going to give me flack for some of these choices, but to me, Celestia, she's a good character. Don't get me wrong. I mean, here's a princess that can essentially, you know, duke it out with the best of them. Basically, she can duke it out. She can take the best shots and still come back for more at times. And what I like about her is she don't take crap from anybody sometimes. She's kind, she's gentle, she understands, what is necessary and what needs to be done. But with all her years, centuries, decades of experience, you know, she is a character that, like I said, just doesn't, that basically knows when it's time to really get serious and not take crap from anybody. But she's also a character that can be very fun. I mean, the comics have really expanded on her a lot, and that's pretty cool. So, she's a character that knows how to have fun, and she can have her comedic moments. There is no doubt about that. Um, I like how she's presented. I mean, I like they give her this lineage, but of who she is and what her powers are about, and the fact that she's basically a freaking goddess. You could take the title princess and put queen on this girl. Now, that is, however, one of the big problems, too. Being a princess, she seems to get overpowered in matchups against other beings. Like I mentioned with the Queen of the Changelings, when she duked it out with her, the Queen of the Changelings beat her. So, that's the one thing sometimes some fans may say about Celestia. I'm pretty sure they say it, but they don't come out and say it. And that is the fact that she is a character that, is well developed, does not take crap from anybody at times, knows when it's time to get serious, but knows when to have fun, lighten up, and all that. But when it comes to battle against certain characters, she gets her butt kicked. Sometimes certain characters, like the Queen of the Changelings, she's supposed to be powerful, and yet she can't, beat the Queen of the Changelings. So she has to depend on her pupil, on Twilight and her friends. So she's a very powerful character. Don't get me wrong. There's no doubt about it. But it's more along the lines of she can't, beat certain characters despite being all powerful. I mean, in the comics, her and her sister got turned to freaking stone in a multi-part thing with King Sombra. So, the question is, so the question I think a lot of fans have is, why keep calling her a princess when she's a freaking queen? She's supposed to be a goddess. She's supposed to be like a queen. Why not just give her that title? And it's obvious. It's just like with Disney, princess is a more of appealing thing for young girls. In which, let's not forget, My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic was originally intended for. So that's why she's still considered a princess, even though she's technically, in my opinion, should be a queen. Overall, though, I like Celestia. She can have her moments of being funny and have fun. Like I said, the comics and even the cartoons have shown that. But she also has some moments where she could be serious, take things seriously, and be able to get down to business and not, like I said, not take crap from anybody. So. Hey everyone, we are at number 6, and number 6 is Twilight Sparkle. That's right, Twilight Sparkle is number 6. Yeah, I know I was going to contemplate putting her a little higher, but Twilight, I think to a lot of fans, she's very popular. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people love what Tara Strong has done with the character vocally. But to me, I think Twilight is at a point right now to where, as I've mentioned with Starlight and I've mentioned with Sunset, that she's on the verge of basically not being much of a major character much longer. I think with the possible next season coming up, if there is one, as well as the movie, that pretty much marks the end for her as a major character. I'm not saying she's going to be a major character still, but she's going to be like in the role of a Celestia and a Luna and a Cadence. She's going to be around when she has to be. And I think to fill that role, it's going to be passed on to either Starlight or Sunset. I just get this feeling. But overall, Twilight's character is pretty good. I mean, I like the fact that this is a character that a lot of fans said had probably the best fight scenes in any season finale they have seen in a long time with Lord Trigon or whatever his name is, and beat him. I think that's what happened. She beat him. I think along with the help of her friends, but she in herself beat him. And I like what they're doing with Twilight. It's kind of similar to what I mentioned with Starlight because they've given her own kingdom, which is the kingdom of friendship, I think, or something like that. They've given her own kingdom. If she has her own, basically her castle in her kingdom is kind of like a headquarters for the main six because all of the main six's cutie marks are on the chairs. So I like that, and I like the fact that she's the one, because she's the princess of friendship, that has to really, that I think has a lot more on her plate than Celestia or anybody else, because she has to basically bring friendship to Equestria and Ponyville. She basically has to help those like Starlight, like Sunset, realize, hey, just because you don't think you have friends doesn't mean you have to go all crazy. You can always make friends. You can always try to go out and make friends and start over. You don't have to be upset at the world because of this or that. And I like how her character is developed to do that. And hopefully her character will continue to develop to do that even more so. I think like a lot of us, even though I didn't see it and I really didn't start becoming more of a fan till later on, I like the fact that, part of her growth was she went from being a pupil of Celestia to graduating to an alicorn and thus into a princess, which connects her with Cadence and Shining Armor, puts that connection there. So overall, I like what they've done with Twilight, and hopefully she'll develop more before what I feel is an eventual, passing of the torch to somebody else. Well, she'll be ending up in the role, like I said, similar to what Celestia and the other princesses are in right now. So overall, I like what they've done with Twilight's character, and hopefully they'll give her a decent, I guess you could say, passing the torch, send-off kind of deal in the near future. Alright, at number 5 is Pinkie Pie. I know some of you may be critical about that one, but let's just say you might like the other ones that I put up real soon. But Pinkie Pie at number 5, what can you say about Pinkie Pie? Here's a character that literally is a fourth wall breaking character. I mean, I'm not kidding. She's a fourth wall breaking character that can do just about anything you need her to do. She's a character that is a very toony character. In other words, you need her to be very cartoony, she'll do it. I mean, I asked the question at the MLP forums of who do they think would do the lustful melt gag first? In other words, who would be the first character to melt into a puddle, out of attraction to another character or whatever. And people have agreed it would be Rarity and all that, but a lot of people have said Pinkie Pie would be perfect. Because Pinkie Pie, they show that when she gets excited, can blast off like a rocket, when she can fall apart into pieces, literally, and so much more. So, and basically pull out anything out of her, from out of nowhere when a moment's notice. So, Pinkie to me is one of those characters that you can't help but love and enjoy watching, and always wondering what, when the story's focused on her, what she's going to do. I mean, one of the earlier episodes that they did, she was, I guess she wanted to do a surprise birthday party or something was going on, and her friends didn't want nothing to do with it, and suddenly she just started to get all sad and somber and started to go literally insane. And there was even an episode where, her friends needed her help and all that, and she wanted to help them, but there wasn't enough for her. She cloned herself. And a lot of people still look at that through MLP theories, like, could there be more clones remaining? Overall, this is a character that literally fans want to see more of than just what they see sometimes when an episode focuses on all of them or centers on her. They want to see centers on her and another character. They want to see more. They want to see more about who she is, what she can do, and literally, I mean, what more can you say? I mean, they even bring that trait over to the Equestria Girl one, where this is, I don't know what it is, the video of her going through a mirror of it's like I don't know if she discovered it. I don't know if she discovered the mirror or what. I don't know what's going on here. But basically, there's a thing of her going through a mirror, high-fiving a twin of hers, a clone of hers, coming out to take her place. It's like, what in the world? So, yeah, she's a very unique character, very funny character. And, obviously there's something with her and, I guess, what is it, Cheesecake or something? That's what his name is. So, hopefully we might see more of that. But hopefully we might see her do a melting gag. Who knows? In a future episode. But really, Pinkie Pie is one of those characters that you just want to see more of, want to know more about, want to see more about what she's going to do, with what she's given. It's like, you're always, basically, she's one of those characters that you're always curious about what she's going to do next. So, that's all I can really. All right, number 4 is Applejack. Yeah, I was actually, when I was putting this countdown together, I may have numbered her a little lower, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? She needs to be a little higher. So that's why she's at number 4 here. And what can you say about Applejack except, I think Media Hunter said it best about her, and I think it's going to apply to another character, and I think you know who that's going to be coming up next. But Applejack is one of those, I mean, you talk about a huge shift from what the original Applejack character was in G1, in Generation 1 of My Little Pony, and even any other incarnation. You talk about a huge shift. This is a character that's straight up country girl, and badass at the same time. Will not take any crap sometimes from anybody. She is literally someone that likes to try to do things on her own. She, even though I can't think what who she's supposed to be the guardian of, what her element is. It's something, generosity, humility or something like that. But basically, or honesty or something like that, I don't know. But basically, humility, honesty, I don't know what it is, something like that. But she is basically someone that, even though that's her trait, that's what she stands by, is very like, hey, I can do this myself. I can handle this myself at times. And, I think that's what a lot of fans like about her. She's tough. She's tough enough to say, hey, I can do this on my own. But she is willing to admit when she needs help. I mean, she is basically, a lot of characters feel she's a very badass character because there's an episode where she saves Spike from some diamond dogs, and literally Spike's in her debt. Again, she's willing. It doesn't. Again, here's a character that, even though she's badass, can, literally stand, hold her own ground at times. It's really gone through a huge evolution. I mean, this is a character that I don't think anybody would have thought, okay, you're bringing back Applejack as one of the main 6 for the Friendship is Magic. I don't think anybody would have thought she was going to stand out like she did, but like she has, I should say. But holy moly, she has done just that. I mean, you can tell she's very country, you know, very much a country girl, cowgirl. Well, and like I said, she could stand her own. She could, you know, fight with the best of them if she has to. You know, she, she is somebody that, sometimes her pride will get the best of her because, like I said earlier, she wants to always try to do things on her own, but she's always willing to accept the help when needed. I mean, there was an episode earlier in this season to where she was supposed to, she's been missing a lot of spa dates with Rarity, and because she has all this, chores and everything she's got to get done, and she wants to put that first. And yet it takes her friends to make her realize, hey, you need to ask for help, and we could help you out there, or you would get her friends basically have to wake her up and say, hey, you need to get help. You need to ask for help so you can balance things out, and then so you can balance things out and do other things like spend a spa day with a friend or so. So, what more can you say about Applejack except she's basically one of those characters that's like great. It's just a great evolution and development of a character right here. So that's all I can really say. I mean, there's not really much more to say about Applejack except you should go on YouTube. I think they got Best of Applejack on here, so definitely check that character out because this is a badass character. Really, I mean, the Power Ponies costume that she got, the Mistress of something. What is she's called? Oh, she's kind of like a Wonder Woman like character, but she's got like a mask and everything, a black mask over her face at times. I don't know, but she's definitely really good character to become a fan of if you want to get behind a character, a character, a My Little Pony Friendship with Magic to become a fan for. So let me know what you guys think, though. But that's what. All right, guys. At number 3 is another character. I kind of alluded to her a little bit in the last one. At number 3 is, as you can see, is Rainbow Dash. That's right, RD Rainbow Dash. The character that always feels that everything should be 20% cooler. Oh, well, I can't really do the voice. Um, but yeah, Rainbow Dash, what can you say about this character? I mean, a lot of people have felt that any episodes that she has been in late at times have not been the best, have not been really good, but some have. Uh, she recently achieved her dream of being a Wonderbolt, which is pretty cool. Um, and what I liked about that episode, and I think a lot of people did, is we got to see a lot more personality out of Rainbow Dash than usual. I mean, not saying Rainbow Dash, being the tomboyish girl that she is, character that she doesn't have character and personality and charisma. Oh, this character has it. She has it by the tons. She is a show off. She likes to cause a little mischief, especially around their Halloween time, which is Nightmare Night. Um, she's just an overall good character. I mean, I like the development with her. I like how she's very tomboyish, very athletic, you know, and but she's also willing to help her friends and help people out in need, which is really decent. I mean, she's also willing to fight when necessary. I mean, the episode where Spike, I don't know what it is, but it's a second season episode was when Spike refuses to give a gem or something like that to these bully dragons, that when he's about to probably get his hide handed to him, the 3 ponies that followed him basically take off the disguise, and Rainbow Dash is the first to say, no one's going to lay a claw on him. Or no pony's going to lay a claw on him. And she's just willing to fight. So that's what I like about Rainbow Dash. She's willing to fight. She and Applejack are almost similar in tone, own in many ways. But the one thing that I think really put um, Rainbow Dash above Applejack a little bit, and especially on this countdown, is in the episode where she becomes officially a Wonderbolt, but she ends up, well, basically we get a little bit of an origin of, why she was given a certain nickname when she was a kid and doesn't like that when it's given back to her. But she finds out in the end that everybody has a nickname when they first start out and everything, and that they just have to, get used to it, and it's nothing, and they don't mean any harm by it. It's just like, hey, this is, your initiation, and this is sometimes what we all have to go through. Um, but what I liked about this is she can impersonate. She really can. I mean, all it takes is like a flip of the hair or something like that, and a little bit of facial expressions, and she could be any character she can think of. I mean, when she tried to find a personality that might help her fit in, and she ended up impersonating all her friends, from Twilight to Pinkie Pie to Fluttershy to Applejack to Rarity, which was really surprising because that was like the first time we'd ever seen a real femme fatale version of Rainbow Dash. And I think the Soren character was kind of taken aback by that too. So overall, Rainbow Dash, what can you say about this character except, she is basically a character that, being very tomboyish, is a character that not only young girls and females can get behind and be a fan of, but young boys and men can get behind and be a fan of, because she is that diverse as a character. So that's why Rainbow Dash, to me. All right. At number 2 is Princess Luna. Yep. It's hard to believe that this character is at number 2, but you know what? What can you say about this character? I mean, he's a character that, when the series began, started out as an antagonist, was manipulated by basically the power of the the nightmares or whatever, and basically was able to go, not only be released from that darkness, but was able to redeem herself. And I like how she's gone and done that. She's gone and done that and taken it to a whole new level. I mean, she appears in episodes. I mean, I liked when she appeared for her first Nightmare Night, which was dedicated to her as Nightmare Moon. I like how she at first didn't understand the concept, but then when she finally did and finally realized that nobody was really scared of her, it was just out of fun, that she really came into her own. And I like how that episode helped develop her in such a way that it allowed her to learn how to speak softly, in other words, more normal like. And it's just overall just a good episode for her to be redeemed in. And every other appearance she has made has been really good. And it's not just been in the cartoon; it's been in the comics too, where she's made some unique appearances and made appearances and has, been an integral part into the story. I mean, and it's through this that this character has become one of the more popular characters of MLPFIM. I mean, I don't think anybody would have expected that off the bat. I mean, here's the thing: her Funko vinyl figure, the regular size one, not the mini one, but the regular size one, goes for like $200 something on eBay. I mean, not eBay, but on Amazon. Same with Celestia's. And it shows you the popularity of this character, but hers seems to go a little bit more than Celestia's, again showing the popularity of her. I mean, the thing is, this character has done so much. And she can be funny. The comics have shown that she can have a funny side, a humorous side. There's just so much to this, so many layers to this character, that one can't help but like Luna and get behind her and be a fan of hers. I mean, she is just one of those characters that is a is was basically the first of what has become a very good redemption story. Basically, she has redeemed herself in the eyes of a lot of fans, or a lot of the characters, I should say, because of what she was and now who she is. I mean, it's just one of those situations there, and I don't think you could say. I don't think I could say much more about Luna than what anybody else could say about her. I mean, she's very kind. She's basically a very kind, very sweetheart, a very kind princess, very much of a sweetheart. But she's also the kind of princess that, like Celestia, doesn't take crap from anybody. And I like how the fact that she has the power to enter people's dreams to help them out and help them realize, hey, look, you can't act this way because this could happen. She's done that. She's even done that with the younger sisters of Applejack and Rarity. So I like that. I really do like that because she's doing it from her own perspective, from her own experience with her sister. So I like what they're doing there. So over, you know, so overall, what more can I say about Luna that has not been said yet by anybody else? And if you guys can think of anything else, let me know. But Luna is a good character and has definitely earned my respect as a fan and with the redemption and everything. And it's definitely proved to be a character that has gone on and come out of nowhere to be one of the more popular characters among the fans, if not the entire franchise. So that's all I could say about Princess Luna. Luna, and who she is and what she's about, best to my knowledge, and why she is deserving of the number two spot here on the countdown of. All right, number one. I think this was expected because you've seen that I'm kind of a fan of hers with some of the collectibles I have. It's Rarity. What can I say about Rarity? From what I know, is her element is of that of generosity, and yeah, talk about a character to give it to. But she is obviously very generous. You take a look at how they portray her in the comics and how they portray her in the cartoon, and she may seem a little self-absorbed at times in the eyes of people, but you know, to me, this is a character that really has a lot to offer. I mean, the stories when they center around her are very well done. I mean, obviously she's a fashion designer. She's become very popular enough to open several boutiques in not just Equestria and Chantilly, but in Manhattan and all that. So, obviously, her dream is to be that world famous fashion designer, and she's getting there. And I like how she's achieving that goal, but she's also doing it in a way that makes that she's willing to give back. She's generous enough to give back to those that help her, and that she's willing to help them in return. I mean, the comics have shown this, where she actually helped out the Griffin. I think it's uh, Glinda's soccer team or foosball team or whatever it's called. In that issue, she helped them out because one character didn't really know how to do it well, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to help you out. I'll take your place. And that's what she did. So, what more can you say about her? And the fact that one of the very first stories in the comic centered around her. It was like a multi-issue story where the nightmare powers got a hold of her and turned her into nightmare Rarity. So, obviously, she's a very important character that if you choose any characters out of the main six to manipulate into the next nightmare-like character, it's her. It ends up being her. That's saying something. And to me, her stories are, the stories that when they do center around her, they can be off a little bit according to some fans, but sometimes can be very well done. The episode about Spike's birthday, The Secret of My Excess, or something like that, where Spike at least acknowledges finally how much he cares about her. I'm surprised they haven't capitalized on that yet, and I think they need to. In fact, I have said numerous times, it's now or never to get that done. Either they stay friends, or at least there's something between them. there's something that happens. So to me, there's so much about Rarity that, has been seen and has been shown that I believe there's more to come. And the thing is, this character is, yeah, she is the eye candy. I will admit that's one of the reasons she's at number one. She's the freaking eye candy of the show. Her and Luna, of course, but mostly her. I mean, that's one of the reasons I saw how they designed this character, and I took one take, and I was like, what the heck? So to me, I can understand that. I can understand how many fans would get behind the show, especially of a character like her, because she has that femme fatale, eye candy look to her. But in addition, she has that generous heart. And she's a sweetheart. She's a kind, loving pony that's willing to help others. And it just shows throughout the episodes. It really, really does. And she's such a fashion designer that anything can give. And what I like about her character is that she's very creative. Being a fashion designer, she can take anything she looks at and says, you know what, I can make something out of that. I can make something out of that. During the first Christmas episode they did, the Heath warming Eve's episode, the first one they ever did, when they're heading to Chantalot, she's wearing a freaking Christmas tree hat, which Pinkie Pie pops out of. I mean, how creative can you be about that, with something like that? So, I don't know what more I could say about Rarity, except, there's like I said before about other characters like Luna and Applejack and Rainbow Dash, there's so many layers to her that I think there's more that can be accomplished with her in the near future, a lot more. Just a lot more. I mean, to me, for her to acknowledge the feelings of Spike, but not obviously go beyond that. I mean, she's willing to fight for Spike. That's the thing. I mean, the one line she does in that episode, like I mentioned earlier with Rainbow Dash, she basically tells the dragons that, hey, fighting's not really her style. She's more into fashion, but that she'll rip them to pieces if they hurt Spike. So to see a character that's usually about fashion, more femme fatale, more feminine than the other main six, say that, hey, she's willing to get down and dirty, is saying something. And she has proven she can get down and dirty too, because I think she's done some farm work and all that to help out a little bit, or show she can be different or something like that. But overall, this is why I like Rarity, and that's all I could say. And this, overall, with everything else she is been shown to do in comics and in the cartoon, is why she is number one in my